This is a KX Storm Team Severe Weather Alert.
Well, things are finally settling down. I've been at the KX network for 20 years. I've never seen 5 tornado warnings at the same time, which is what we had earlier this afternoon. And wait till you see the pictures that I'm going to be showing you in just a little while. Right now, the severe weather threat is off to the east towards Devil's Lake and Jamestown. There is some flooding at Carrington, but there's also very heavy rain from about Harvey through Rugby up into the Turtle Mountains. We're talking about some very heavy rain, and now we're getting the wraparound rain in some of the northern counties right now. Now, over the next 3 days, the weather is going to improve. However, tomorrow is going to be really windy. We're probably talking about 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Now, I'm going to give you a little bigger recap of what happened earlier today. I'll tell you what to expect and have some great pictures to show you, and it's all coming up on KX News.
Coming up tonight at 10, a recap of today's severe weather. This tornado touched down near Killdeer.
And winds so powerful, this tree crashes into this home.
Plus, a power line down in Mandan sparks quite the commotion. We'll tell you how it happened.
Check that out.
Putting North Dakota first. KX News at 10 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Lauren Culver.
And I'm Chad Mira. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. A wild evening of severe weather coverage. All sorts of pictures coming into the newsroom. At this point, the National Weather Service confirms 2 tornadoes did touch down.
Quite a night. A trained weather spotter observed a tornado 7 miles north of Hebron. Here's video of the other one near Killdeer. This 50-second video was sent to us from Tim Anderson. You can see how long that funnel is. He even shows it from top to bottom. You can see it come down, touch the ground, and then it goes back up.
And here's another great picture of what appears to be that same tornado taken from a well site near Killdeer. Thanks, Cara Jean, for letting us use that one on air.
South of Glen Ullin, wind speeds were clocked at 75 miles per hour. That is hurricane strength. Here's what the wind did in Bismarck. A tree fell on a trailer at Capitol Park Village in the north part of town. The fire department responded around 6:30 this evening. A neighbor tells us the person who lives in this trailer wasn't home at the time. Besides a few of these damage reports, there was a camper that overturned near Max. The National Weather Service is actually saying there isn't widespread damage with any of these storms, and they say that is surprising when you're dealing with hurricane force winds.
Here's a look at just a few of the many pictures people sent us today. This first one was taken in Bismarck. This was from Travis Tooley. Looks like a construction trailer blown over by the wind there, sitting on top of a spiffy biff. That's a pretty strong porta potty there. This next one's from Alicia. She sent this from north of Killdeer, maybe that same tornado we were showing you earlier, funnel cloud here in that picture. This next picture from Judd Iverson, another tornado out in Mandaree, it looks like. And then lastly, a picture from Dana Blevins. That's the hail that they got north of Beulah. You can see she's holding in her hand there an egg. It looks to be that the hail is about that same size.
And power is now restored after lightning hit a power line in Mandan. A witness said he saw a lightning strike hit the power line. This is video taken immediately after that lightning hit. You can see the sparks flying and a few small fires start. This took place in the parking lot of the Hardys on Main Street in Mandan. According to the Mandan fire chief, when the line broke, it was still electrified, making for a very dangerous situation on Main Street.
Well, we responded to basically a down power line, and when we got here we noticed that there was some arcing wires on the ground in the parking lot. So we basically just shut down Main Street and to keep traffic away.
And we had a crew on scene moments after that power line fell and had the chance to talk with someone who saw the incident firsthand.
Lightning struck the pole, and I just saw it's like 4th of July out the window, and the thunder hit. And I looked out the window and I saw right next to the red car, there's about a 3-foot little orb of electricity. And then over here in the laneway here, you can see the charred asphalt. And over there is where it split. And half of it was dangling there, half of it was there.
And thankfully, no injuries were reported. And the fire department says they'll be investigating the nature of the incident.
For the last couple of days, forecasters knew these storms would be severe. So this afternoon, the National Weather Service released an additional weather balloon into the sky. Normally only 2 are sent up during the day, but today, due to the severe threat, they sent up another one at 1:30 p.m. This is the only way we get real data of what's going on in the upper atmosphere. Then all that info is collected and used in our weather models to help better predict what will happen. And we saw and used that data today.
It's evenings like this. We need reminders of how to stay safe when severe weather strikes. If you're caught outside during a storm, get inside as soon as possible. Once inside, stay away from windows and avoid anything that puts you in direct contact with electricity. When it comes to summer storms, lightning is very dangerous. It can strike anywhere at any time.
It can kill you, so on an average there's about 47 deaths a year because of lightning. So the thing is when the thunder rolls, go indoors.
And sometimes a vehicle is your only shelter. If that's the case, do not leave the vehicle.
North Dakota is attacked by hackers about 7 million times each month. This is especially important as we head into the next election season. As Renee Cooper reports, North Dakota currently holds a C grade when it comes to election security.
In September, the Department of Homeland Security notified election officials in 21 states, saying they had been targeted by hackers in the 2016 election. North Dakota was one of those states. Luckily, the attack was just an attempt, and our voter registration system was not breached.
People are jiggling the door handle, but they're not getting in.
But the risk is always present.
Last year, they had a voting village at DEF CON, the #1 hacker conference in the world, and every single voting machine that was brought there was breached within minutes or no more than 90 minutes.
And the hackers can be anyone, from anywhere in the world.
People have to understand we're as close to Russia and China as we are to Mandan, North Dakota, right across the street.
For security reasons, the state elections director was unable to share specifics about North Dakota's cybersecurity standards, but he assured us
We are using those state and federal resources and constantly analyzing the threat structure out there and addressing things. We don't take a day off from that.
North Dakota will be receiving funds from the federal government to upgrade our voting systems. It's unknown exactly when this will happen, but in the meantime, Nagel advises the state
There has to be a collaborated and orchestrated and unified plan put together. Our officials here need to have the right security clearances to actually be part of the briefings, to know what is happening. And more importantly, and probably the most important thing, is we need a strike force that can actually respond immediately.
Renee Cooper, KX News.
Early voting begins Tuesday for several counties.
After 20 years of serving the state of North Dakota, one Republican lawmaker did not get endorsed for re-election. Instead, two new candidates touting more conservative values won out. Representative Andrew Maragos has decided to run alongside Alan Walter, a current Ward County Commissioner. Maragos says that it's always been his vision to listen to the people from District 3 and take it back to the legislature. The two newcomers are Jeff Hoverson, a pastor at a local church, and Bob Paulson, a retiree from the Navy. They want to see North Dakota get back to its core values.
I speak to the community leaders. I let them tell me what they think their priorities are, and then that's what I try to do.
Our platform that we've put forward is a platform of conservative Republican principles, and if that's what they believe in, then that's why they should vote for us.
The primary election is on June 12th.
After 39 years with the Bismarck Police Department, Sergeant Mark Bushina is turning in his badge. Dubbed the face of the department, you've probably seen him countless times here on KX News. Sergeant Bushina started at BPD back in 1979 and has worked his way up to crime prevention. His colleagues say they will miss his extensive knowledge and his sense of humor.
At some point, I decided that I think I probably have to step aside and let somebody newer take over. I was mentioning one day that I told my lieutenant that I started here in 1979, and my lieutenant said, I started kindergarten in 1979. Then I realized that maybe I had been here probably long enough.
We asked him what he's going to do in retirement. No big plans. He just said he's going to enjoy it.
Yes, good for him. He deserves it. Still to come on KX News at 10. We'll tell you the latest news in the business world.
And it is time for the greatest show in the West to hit the stage.
Plus, things are quieter out there. Now maybe we can focus on the weekend weather. Weather is still ahead.
You're watching KX News, putting North Dakota first.
Riddle of the day, what do a bank, an ice shop, and a hotel have in common? They're all in this week's Business Beat.
The Minot location of American Bank Center will be closing its doors next month. American Banker announced it will merge the operations of American Bank Center's Minot location into United Community Bank in Minot. The company purchased United Community Bank 3 years ago. Customers will be able to conduct all their business through United Community Bank. These changes are scheduled for July 13th. If you're looking for a way to cool off this summer, a shaved ice shop in Williston wants to help you out. Shivers opened up last summer and is back for another go-round this year. The shop features 10 flavors of shaved ice. Some of the more exotic flavors include pina colada and tiger's blood. It's located in the back of Handy Andy's nursery.
We have a number of individuals who tell us that they think it's just so beautiful down here and they just want to spend time down here. So we thought if we had something that would give them a reason to come, so to speak, that they might stick around and just enjoy the space.
The Holiday Inn located in Minot has recently switched to new ownership. They are now called the Clarion Hotel. Its operations will remain the same. For this week's Business Beat, I'm Natalie Gomez.
If you know of a business we should know about, email us at indyfirst@kxnet.com.
And keep it here. When we come back, it's officially summer in North Dakota, and this is how you know.
And another look at your forecast next.
Now, your local weather with the KX Storm Team.
Well, considering the way it was earlier this afternoon, things have really settled down. However, if you're in the east, still some very heavy rain. Also have a flood advisory for around the Jamestown area. But for Medina, still some very heavy rain possible. We don't have Medina in the flood advisory. Once you get farther north, though, from about Harvey all the way up to into Canada, still some very heavy rain falling in this area here. And this is going to continue to add up for the next several hours. And we also have a line of storms. Look at all that lightning here from earlier today. But now we're starting to get a small little line of small thunderstorms northwest of Kenmare right now. These will not become severe, but still some thunder and lightning and more heavy rain. There's the overall picture. And now look at this. Looks like one of those paint by number things, just splotches like somebody spilt several colors of paint on the map here. So I'm going to zoom down. Here's the legend up here to tell you Pick a spot that you want to look at, and you can see 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 inches of rain. A couple of days ago, we had a forecast model, and we showed it on KX News and said there could be spots of 6-inch rain, and honestly, I wasn't sure it was going to happen, but there it is. That's the purple, and we have purple. We have more purple there. Some of that might be a little bit high because of hail, but still very, very heavy rain. Now, once we get up where we have the tornado warnings earlier today, 5 tornado warnings all at once. This is the area that we had the tornado warnings in, and you can see the very heavy rain. Again, with all this purple here, that was probably some hail, and so it's reading a little bit high, but still a tremendous amount of rain. And then farther to the north up towards the international border, many more areas getting 2, 3, 4, 5 inches of rain out of these thunderstorms, and there's the overall picture. So I think when the new drought report comes out on next Thursday, it's probably going to look a lot better. Let me show you some of the photos. I don't think you've seen these yet. Earlier in the news, this was a storm cloud near Newtown, and this would be the tornado north of Killdeer. I'm not sure we had this shot earlier, and boy, that is on the ground. We also have what looks like almost a cloud burst. This would be rain south of Partial on Highway 37. And I'm calling this a funnel cloud because at this point, I don't know if it was actually touching down. That equipment is blocking the view of the ground to see if there's any debris flying around or anything. And one thing you may not know about tornadoes and how they rate them, no matter how big that funnel cloud is, they measure it by the damage. So you could have a mile-wide tornado on the ground. If it didn't do any damage, it would be an F0. Fortunately, from the Weather Service, we're finding out no reports of widespread damage. Also, there was hail today, and some pretty good size hail, up to golf ball size hail, and this was southwest of Bismarck earlier today as well, so some really, really impressive clouds. This is what it looks like in Bismarck right now. You can see a little bit of clearing. That's kind of nice to see that clearing, isn't it? The temperature is 63 degrees, winds out of the west-northwest at 10. In Minot, still pretty dark. There's rain to the northwest, 65 degrees. The dew point is at 62. In Williston, pretty dark out. Not seeing any lightning in the sky cam, 60 degrees. Dew point's at 55. And in Dickinson, a little more light in the sky there. The temperature in Dickinson is 56 degrees, west wind at 21. I want to give you a heads up. Tomorrow is going to be windy. It wouldn't surprise me to have some kind of a warning tomorrow, probably a high wind warning, something, because some of the wind gusts tomorrow could be 40 miles an hour or more. It is going to be that windy. Right now, the temperatures are in the 50s and 60s, so it's really cooled off. Precision cast during the overnight hours brings that rain that we saw up around Kenmare into the north central early in the morning, but it'll be out of here. Then we get those big arrows. That means lots of wind tomorrow, and the wind is going to hang around throughout the afternoon and drop off tomorrow evening, and then on Sunday is going to be really nice. So forecast temps tomorrow will be in the 60s and 70s and very, very windy. Sunday looks real nice. Another chance of storms, nothing like we had today, Monday night into Tuesday. And in the south, kind of the same story with a real windy day ahead of us tomorrow, but Sunday looks really nice. But after the day we had today, Lauren and Chad, I mean, things are settling down now, but there's some people that got a lot of rain. A lot of people needed it, but maybe too much in a couple of areas too.
Yeah. Yep. I love a good storm, but enough is enough.
Right, it'll be nice
2 days.
to have some quiet weather now.
Sports is next.
Now, KX Sports with Joey Lamar.
With a 15-1 win over Fargo North, the Dickinson softball team made a statement in the first game of the state tournament. So in the semifinals, the midgets faced West Fargo Cheyenne. In the first, Dickinson is down 2-0 as Timmy Coots gets the ball past the third baseman for a double. That scores a run to cut the lead in half. In the fourth inning, Cheyenne is threatening, but Ali LaFon with an outstanding effort and an outstanding catch at second base for the out. Now in the seventh, Dickinson is up 3-2 and 1 out away from a state title berth, and Cameron Coots gets the ground out for the final out. Dickinson will play for their third state title in the last 4 seasons. The midgets win 3-2. So either Century or Minot will get the other spot in the championship. On the mound for Century was senior Danny Jensen, and she was solid. Here, she gets one of her 4 strikeouts to end the inning. Later, we see some defense from the Patriots. A ground ball is headed up the middle, and Kelsey Mitchell makes a nice diving stop and tags the bag at second for the out. But the offense flowed really well for Minot, as this ball will fall in and the hit will clear the bases. Minot goes up 7-0. Century made a late push, but the comeback bid falls short. The Pats fall 8-6. So the title matchup will see Dickinson and Minot, as one of these teams will be crowned champion. And the third place game will feature Century against West Fargo Cheyenne. Earlier in the day, Bismarck High season came to an end after a 10-7 loss to Fargo North. And at the Class B tournament, Hart River loses their second straight game. They fall 5-3. In Class A baseball, the Century Patriots are in the state semifinals, looking to take another step closer to their first ever state title in the sport. And Century faced Fargo Davies in a very close contest, and the Patriots draw first blood in the opening frame. Isaiah Thomas skies a ball to right field, and Connor Hansen beats the throw to the plate as Century takes a 1-0 lead. As we move to the fourth, the Patriots are down 1 run, and on the double play ball, Cameron Miller beats out the throw to first. That allows Matt Miller to score, and we are tied at 2. And Century will keep the rally going. Kirkland Irish slashes a hit down the line. That will send another Century run to the plate. The Pats take a 3-2 lead. Currently, this game is in a lightning delay as they await to play the top of the 7th. At the Class A baseball tournament, Mandan will start to prepare for next season after a 4-0 loss. In Class B baseball, Beulah looks to continue their quest for the school's third state title. And in the semifinals, Beulah played Thompson, and Beulah was up 2-1 in the 5th when pitcher Aaron Vallejo finds the bunt and tags the runner for the out. But later in the inning, things start to go south for Beulah. Here, they give up a sacrifice fly, and this would tie the game at 2 runs apiece. Then Beulah was hit by the error bug. Watch as this ball deflects off the pitcher's glove and gets past the second baseman. That allowed 2 runs to score. Then the floodgates opened for Thompson. Beulah heads to the third place game against Carrington after a 10-2 loss. After a tough start to the state soccer tournament, the West Region teams can still play for a consolation championship. And we had a windy afternoon for Century and Minot at the bowl. Here, we have no score in the first half as the Majettes set up Allison Lepp with a clean look, but she hooks the shot left of the post. So we are still scoreless early in the second half. This time Lepp does not need any help. She makes the free kick from 30 yards away and scores 1-0 Minot. Then about 10 minutes later, the Majettes with another free kick, and Minot crashes the box for the rebound, and Malik Burke shakes the net. Minot moves to the 5th place game with a 3-0 win. And in the other consolation match, St. Mary's was down 1-0 to Mandan, but the Saints have a response. Marianne Sneffner has the open look, and she buries the shot to tie the game at 1. Then just before the half, the Saints with a corner kick, and the ball hovers around the box, and Sneffner again with the goal, and St. Mary's takes a 2-1 lead. Here, St. Mary's looks to ice the game, but Olivia Geiger comes up with a save. St. Mary's wins 2-1. The Saints will play Minot for the consolation title. The championship bracket was not played because of weather conditions, so tomorrow those semifinal matches will kick off with West Fargo Cheyenne taking on Fargo Shanley at 9 a.m. and Fargo North facing Davies at 11 a.m. As for the matches that were originally scheduled for tomorrow, the 5th place will be played at 1 p.m. and after that, the 3rd place match will start at 3, and then the tournament will conclude with a championship match at 5 p.m. And earlier today, the Bismarck Larks continued a game that was shortened by rain yesterday, and the Larks registered a walk-off win on the sacrifice fly to win the game 9-8. The win also means the Larks start their season with a 3-0 record. As for tonight's game, Bismarck and Duluth are currently tied at 1 as we head to the second inning. This game was supposed to start at 7:30, but they pushed it back 100 minutes because of lightning. So they'll be playing late into the night.
Still got it in, though. Impressive.
That is impressive.
Thanks, Joey. Stay tuned. Coming up next, grab your cowboy boots and your hat. It is singing time.
That story. And one last look at your forecast.
Parts of western North Dakota were hit with a severe weather warning, but that wasn't going to stop the opening night of the Medora musical.
It's in its 54th season. Dark clouds hovered over rehearsals earlier in the day, but they would finally clear up just in time for people to take their seats. The Medora Foundation says they were expecting around 700 people tonight.
Say that you're going to see a lot of the all of the stuff that people love about the show, but just kind of done in a different way. So I think you're going to get a new experience this year.
The musical had one of its best seasons ever last year. More than 100,000 people attended the event.
Wow. Looked like a good crowd tonight,
it's
too.
Always a good show. So.
Now here's our photo finish. Looks like the mothership coming to pick us up. A man named Keen sent this to us as storm cloud near Flasher. He even said it looked like something out of the movie Independence Day.
Oh my goodness.
I would have to agree.
How do you pick just one photo finish? There were hundreds sent in. You can see those on our website, by the way. Now here's a last look at our forecast.
Yeah, that was an amazing picture. And I know this looks a little blurry. I just a minute ago took this off Facebook. I just wanted to show you how lucky we were earlier today. 1, 2, 3, 4, Five tornado warnings going on at 6 o'clock today, and no big damage. We really, really lucked out today. Now, there's still some rain in the area. The flood advisory, that's for the Jamestown area, but now we have more thunderstorms, small ones, developing in the north central. They're going to be in the area through the morning hours, so we'll continue to watch that. Tomorrow, it's going to be pretty windy.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Thanks so much, and thanks for watching.
Have a nice weekend.